And before we click record, anyone who watches this in the future, I just want to say I thank Robin for all of the amazing content that she puts out, because it's extremely helpful to like see other poor people be vocal about being poor. Robin, while I'm trying to get my shit together, why do you keep putting out amazing content that puts emphasis on poverty and being poor?
Because people have no idea. So I think people that are resource for the people that haven't experienced poverty, they don't know what we go through every day. I just want to highlight, our daily, everyday struggles and make people less judgy about us and more empathetic and more supportive. And I think that sharing stories helps them to be that from what I've seen with people. So, yeah.
It truly does. I had so much internalized stigma towards myself before your content started popping up on my timeline, because I was just like, well, you have this many followers, you shouldn't be asking for money at this point. But life be life, and I don't know if people know that. Do they know that, Robin? Do they know life be?
No,
Oh.
they don't know because people PM me and go, "Oh my gosh, you've been asking for months, years," and I'm like, "Yeah, what's changed? Did we get health care? Did we get basic income? Did we reparations? Anything? No. So yeah, still poor, still asking for help and support me or don't, but don't judge me for it. Don't make it harder for me to exist. You know? So
And Robin, I know, I mean, this is not your job to be poor. What do you actually what do you do?
well, I actually work in psychedelics. So I'm an educator for the Black community. I teach people how to like hold space for us. But that took a back seat because I was poor. I wasn't making money doing that, so I had to kind of shift, and somehow ended up in mutual aid. So this was not the plan. And then before psychedelics, or actually at the same time, I was doing gig work. I drove for Uber Eats, I did DoorDash, I did Amazon delivery, and then got deactivated for no reason and lost that income. So I got even poorer. So yeah, just living off people's community care and support, and then random freelance gigs when I had the space for it here and there, and trying to piece life together the best I can. So, and it sucks. It sucks really hard. Um,
I know that you started a Substack. Is it a Substack? You're
yeah.
writing about how much poverty sucks, and that's even wild. Like to begin with, like where we are in society. That yep. But I just told you that I'm poor as well, and so Zoom has like a limit on these Zoom meetings, and it's just gonna cut off at like a very specific time, because I refuse to upgrade or pay, like, I don't know, it's like $200 a fucking month to do this, to literally be able to talk to people. Have you seen barriers in like trying to maneuver into like, okay, I'll use my creativity to gain monetary value in a way? Have you found barriers to that, like how I don't want to pay fucking Zoom?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everything. Like I put out a guide recently, I think just this week it was. I don't, time is so off to me. I think it was a guide for like Black businesses. And the place that I hosted it on was $14. And I was like, I don't have that. So I had to pull from somewhere else to get it, because I was like, in the end, this could, make me money. So I have to just, eat it and do that. Um, a couple years ago, I was hosting a space for people in the Black community that do psychedelics, like a meeting space for us. And I couldn't afford the hosting fee for the space every month. So I was like, well, and luckily someone stepped in and sponsored it. But if they hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to keep it at all. So it's everywhere. It's every fucking turn. There's like a barrier to something, and it's very frustrating because it's designed to keep us poor. Everything costs so much, and it's like it's set up that way. So it's very purposed and trash. So yeah.
Trash. And I appreciate that, because um so many, I created a lot of spaces as a creative to like get certain messages out there and stuff, and I life be life in, and I am now being like, this, I can't sustain being alive and continue to do certain things that I want to do, which I know y'all need it, but like then you have to, that's where the mutual aid comes in. It's not only paying for me to be alive, but also so I can continue to hold these spaces. How hard or how difficult is it for you to like tell people that? Or is it ever difficult for you to like explain that, break it down for people?
It's so difficult. People think that I sit at home all day and do nothing. And I'm like, y'all don't know how hard I work as a poor person. Like, I did like a month-long fundraiser. I think it was, I don't even know anymore. This year, last year, who knows? So I could help, so I could rest, right? And it got funded, but the way that I had to work extra hard to raise that money, like just, there was no rest in there. It defeated the purpose completely because I didn't get to rest because I was working so hard to try to get support and explain to people like how it is, and they don't get how it kills creativity and how it kills these spaces. And that's what hurts me the most about my situation for me personally, is the way that it's impacted my creative life. Because people are always like, I love your work, I appreciate what you write. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't keep doing that if I don't have money to live, if I'm worried about survival. I can't keep this up. So I don't know how long that I can, focus on, or not focus, but continue to write, because I can't do this and be worried about, do I have a home next month? Am I losing my car tomorrow? Which is where I am right now. So it's just, they don't get it. They don't get it. Yeah.
And I'm so appreciative of you sharing that here, because sometimes I feel like and we're about to get into that, it's like these multi-layered effects of poverty are just debilitating. Like I feel like I'm suffocating. There's so many layers to just being fucking poor. My hoopty broke down in the middle of the highway last week, and I was like, do you know how many steps back? Like one, and I had an amazing guest on Absolutely Not. Her name is Tamara Jones. She, her. And she talked about how a lot of people don't get to be creative because they're so busy trying to survive. Like we aren't allowed to make mistakes or have accidents happen or anything because we just don't have the funds to get back on track after. How many times have you, or no, okay, that's what I want to talk about. It's like these effects of poverty, how long can you take them on for? Like, do you feel like you could do this forever?
No, ain't no way in hell. No. That's why I'm planning to leave the country, because there's no way that I can thrive or even just basic survive here. I can't even survive. I can't afford housing, healthcare. My quality of life is shit. So me, no. I think I have maybe 2 years left in me in this country, and before it takes me out completely. I can't make it here. And my own mother passed away when she was 49. I'm 48, or will be next week. And I think she wasn't sick. I think it was the constant and chronic worry and poverty and stress and bullshit of what we go through that took her out. I really believe that. And I feel like I'm on that same path if I don't make a major change very soon. So
I have so many emotions right now. One of them is sadness, but the other one is like relief. Like I guess the knowing and like what's about to kill me is like it's at least I know like I'm finna die from poverty, and there's so much that y'all could have did to prevent that, but you are making decisions because you know that it won't come to pass probably in your lifetime. What emotions do you feel like just accepting that, like, I have 2 years left in this country?
it makes me angry. It makes me so angry because, here's the thing. I know that if tomorrow I stroke out and die, I have a heart attack or whatever, I haven't got the people would rally and like start a fund in my name, and it would be funded in 2 seconds. And I'd be like, well, shit, I'm gone now. I don't care now. So it's all the performative bullshit that people that could actually help don't help until it's either too late or until it's too late. So it makes me mad. It makes me really mad because it doesn't have to be this way. It could be so different so easily. The people don't. This is a very selfish country, and And there are people who have been very generous with me, and I'm very grateful. But overall, people are very much about self and not about the collective, and it breaks my heart. Because my mother was so creative. She was a beautiful writer. She played 3 instruments. And none of that got to be expressed in the world because she was so focused on don't die, keep my kid alive. And I'm like, what? That's not a life. We're here for like that long, and we're doing this with our time. Nah.
And so with that, I do want to acknowledge bootstraps, capitalism, all of the things like the extreme systems that are in place why we're going to die. I like and do you see or do you foresee poor people being able to live under capitalism, I guess? Like, is it possible?
I don't think so. I think capitalism is at a point where it can't be fixed. It has to be destroyed and rebuilt into something else. Because capitalism is designed for there to be a lower class, a class that serves and is labor oriented. And in that system, someone's always going to be oppressed, exploited, and that will always end up with inequity. So I think it has to really burn the fuck down. But I don't know if that'll ever happen in this country. So I don't have a lot of hope, to be honest. And I'm a very hopeful person overall, but when it comes to this, I'm like, nah, we're fucked. Yeah. Hope I'm wrong.
I also want to acknowledge we're Black. So I think about the people that are praised for creativity and who are often given a lot of avenues to become successful or have the ability to hoard monetary value. And it's often not Black people. And if it is Black people, they have to be a certain type of Black people. Have you seen that in your work and in the work that you do?
Absolutely. I always see people, in order to get out of poverty, people need to either have resources, time, or support from others to get out of that cycle. And a lot of us don't have that, and never will. So yeah, some folks make it, and it often isn't people that look like us or that have our experiences. So it's just one more barrier for us to bump up against and keep us poor.
And I'm so grateful for everything you're sharing, and I'm extremely grateful that you've even talked about your mother and how poverty is something that has not, like, this is a second generation of someone having to deal with poverty. Do you believe you were born poor?
I do. And actually, I'm going to say it's third generation because my grandparents, her parents, were very poor. But they did a little better than we did because they, at some point in their life had a home, but they lost it, but they at least had a house. My mother never owned a home before her death. I never owned a home, probably never will, in this country. So I think I was born poor as she was in her family. And I'm sure my grandparents were because their parents were, I believe, in the field working. So it's just been passed down. And I'm actually grateful that I don't have children to pass it down to. Oh, I'm sorry. So just in case I don't make it out of my cycle, I won't pass it on to them. Because if I can't break it, I at least don't want to pass it on. That's the least that I can do for my lineage. And I'm sorry for the mouth and the hands. I have a broken front tooth, speaking of poverty, so it's giving me issues this morning. It's just all waxed, my front tooth. So poverty is trash. And can't get it fixed because broke. So apologies for that.
You don't have to apologize. I have a cracked crown on this side of my mouth, and it's been cracked since August. And so food just be followed. Yep. And you just have to live, because what else is there to do? Yeah. I cannot get over, I don't know why it made me so sad when you said, if I can't break this, I at least don't want to pass it to my kids. But the way that you frame that is as if it's your responsibility to not be poor anymore. And it's because America be saying, like, they're little, like, yeah, stop being poor, bitch.
Yeah. I want to be real clear on that. Poverty can't be fixed by individuals. It cannot. It has to be systemic. So we need, as I mentioned earlier, reparations. We need systemic change. We need universal basic income and healthcare. And I'm not sure, again, that I will ever see those things come to life in my lifetime. So yeah, I can't fix this. No individual can fix it. I mean, they can get money, but we can't fix poverty as individuals. It has to be a systemic, collective effort by the people that have the power, and we don't have the power, unfortunately. So it's very annoying. Very annoying.
And not only annoying, but like literally detrimental to our health. Like, what do y'all want us to do? Like, the
fact that money took out my mother and may take me out and may take out other Black people, it's like, it blows my mind. I can't fathom that.
And I want to acknowledge the scarf that you have on, real quick. What kind of scarf is that?
Yeah, it's from Palestine. I've had this actually for years. It's a factory in Palestine called Herbawi. I'm not sure if I said that correctly. But yeah, support all day, every day, free Gaza. Yeah.
And it's wild how, like, being poor, that was one of the first things I thought about. Like, obviously, like, everybody's kids are dying over there and everything, but one of the things I thought was like, so everybody's just gonna be poor and walking around and homeless.
See, like, I look at that, and people don't see the correlation between what's happening over there and Black folks here. I can't help them. I don't know what to say. It's parallel. It's the same fucking thing that they're doing. I mean, they're not out. Well, they are outright killing us here. They are doing that. They were targets everywhere. But to watch that in real time doesn't feel real. It's making me feel genuinely insane. What's happening?
And I guess the same conversation that we're having here about our own poverty and such is the same conversations I have, like, gibbling in my brain about them. I'm like, so the mental health impacts, the, like, physical impacts of everything that's going on there is the same of being homeless here and, like, being in poverty here, and no one is acknowledging it on either side. America just has, like, an Instagram filter on how we live in, but, like, they don't have an Instagram filter.
No. I have no words. I don't know. Yeah. Like, the way that the trauma of this was happening to the kids over there, everyone, the adults, the way that's going to be just handed down for generations to come, and the impact that'll have on future people, it's mind-boggling, the impact that'll have on people to come.
And all preventative. Like, y'all have money and power. Like, I'm just not understanding.
Every single bit of it could be. I think that's the part that wrecks me the most. That this could be avoided, prevented, and if not that, it could be rectified. But everyone's like, "Nah, fuck them people, fuck them kids." I'm like, "Oh, okay,
all right." And the hardest part about this, like, of course, you and I are both immersed in this, so I'm constantly thinking of solutions, like, of, like, how to fix my own life, and also poverty as a whole across, like, the world. I can't do shit, but how do you, I guess, while that's, like, whirling around in your brain, kind of stop and say, like, hey, I can't do this today because I have to survive today. So I can't, like, fix world hunger today. We have to figure out how to eat today.
Right. Yeah, I have a lot of those days, and a lot of times, things get dropped. People, commitments, and all I can do is say I'm sorry. And sometimes I even can't do that. I just have to just do me, and it feels very selfish. But I have to just focus on survival, just survive, keep me alive. I have pets, keep them alive. Don't lose my home, and nothing else matters to me. I think that's another impact of poverty that people don't talk about, the impact that it has on relationships, or I know it has for me. Like, I don't have space to really nurture deep friendships. And I'm pretty sure that my marriage fell apart because I was struggling while we were married. I had 3 jobs, still couldn't make enough, wasn't contributing enough. And at some point she was like, it's too much. So I think it's just impacted a lot of my, people, community relationships. And that's been very sad to me. Yeah.
And sorry, all of this resonates. So, but none of it is annotated. I go on like NAMI, I go on like what is the other one? All of the big mental health websites. And when they talk about trauma, poverty is very rarely, no, it's like never a part of it. It always talk about like war and stuff, which yes, obviously, but poverty is never. Have you ever seen poverty mentioned in conversation of trauma?
No, and that's why I started writing an entire guide, because I couldn't find one about it, called, How to Heal from the Trauma of Poverty. Not how to heal poverty, because I don't know the answer to that. I'm still fucking in it. But how to heal from the impact that it's caused in life, and impacts that you may not even be aware of. So, yeah, because I was like, I didn't realize it until probably this year, how much of an impact poverty or the trauma of it had on my life. I didn't know, because no one talks about it. So.
And I often think about my childhood and how like you're just told to go to school, even though like you don't have lunch, or like they make like a big spectacle of who has free lunch and who does, like, and none of that is discussed, like never into your adulthood, how that affected you.
Listen, the other day I had a memory that I totally had blocked out. I went to a private school on scholarship, but when report card time came, if you weren't paid up, you got an envelope with your report card, but it was empty. And that used to break my heart, because mine was always empty, because my mom was always behind. She had to like pay a little bit and still couldn't afford that. And no one talks about like, things like that. So I totally get that. And I had so blocked that out because it was so painful, and it seemed so minor, but it did a number on me for years. So, yeah.
And I think I wrote down processes that villainize poor people, much like the processes that villainize homeless people, but like to a certain degree, like how benches have that fucking in the middle. I used to think that was just, no, that's literally so homeless people can't sleep. That's wild.
And they're even getting more, but they're like putting like spikes and making wavy ones that move so people can't sleep. I'm like, y'all are just evil.
For what reason? Like, other than being evil?
Because people don't want to see it. People don't want to see homeless, so they can just like push us away and make us not, like. I saw some article the other day where it's so bad now, and I knew this, that people are opening parking lots where people can live in their cars and park safely. I'm like, this country is so fucked. Like, that's not okay. It's not okay. And I've lived in my car before several times, and opening up a parking lot for safety isn't the answer. So, no.
And I bet you have to pay for it. I bet you have to pay a monthly fee or something.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah.
So what? Okay, yeah, but I think about all those processes often. I'm like, okay, well, this is not helpful to poor people. Like, why would someone? And are there any processes that you've thought of recently that either villainize or not really or dehumanize people who are poor?
I'm sure there are so many that I'm missing, but the one that that comes to mind for me personally is my car note. my car note is astronomical. It's over $400, and I'm late every month because I don't have that kind of money, and they charge me $100 late fee. And I'm like, I already have it, so you're gonna charge me more money? And my interest rate is like, I think 23%, something outrageous for a 10-year-old Honda. It doesn't make any sense. So it's like, it's really designed to keep people poor. And like yeah, that's just one example, and there are so many that comes to mind first. So.
I didn't even clock that. Like late fees, like, bitch, I'm gonna give you more money. Like, I don't have it.
I already don't have it, so you charge me more? Because make sense. Like,
but what else? Oh, and like, credit scores. And how long it takes for something to come off your credit. That's literally penalizing. So,
like, when I was homeless 3 years ago. I think it was 2020. I don't know dates anymore, but it is a couple years ago. And I was looking for an apartment, and it was so hard because people were like, your credit score is trash. I'm like, well, yeah, I know, but it was such a demoralizing process to just hear no over and over again. And the only reason I got this place is the guy was like, oh, fine, whatever, fine. I was like, oh, gee, thanks. But the whole process was just crap. It was crap. And the funny thing to me is that credit scores are, number one, racist, but number two, they're pretty damn new. It's like they weren't here 30, 40 years ago. So why? And it hits people like us the hardest. It's just more bullshit on top of already bullshit. It's like,
why do you need to know if I paid a light bill 6 years ago in order to live here?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, okay. The thing is beeping, so yeah, this is about to end. Okay. But Robin, thank you so much for everything you have shared. Is there anything else you want to put out on here so that people hear it?
If you need help, ask for it. Put it out there. That's it. Okay, thank you so much for this. This was amazing. Thank you. I've never had this space to talk about it, so very grateful.
Everything that you have been sharing and the consistency in what you were sharing has helped me like get out of like, oh, you can't be poor in real life. Like, be poor like in the back. Like, ask people you know for money, but don't ask people online for money. And I'm always surprised when I still see those comments and people like, dang, didn't you just ask for money? Like, don't you have that many followers? I'm like, yo, none of this is real. I want y'all to like, none of this is real.
Please say that again, because yes, it's all made up. We can make it up better. Like, no.
We have work to do, but Robin, thank you so much for giving us some work to do and for sharing all your experiences here. If you are watching this has been Thriving, Not Surviving. We're trying to get out of survival mode, but as we talked about in this episode, there's so much work to do. We will see y'all next time. Thank you so much, Robin.